Hello, everybody. A lot of you know I am Beryl Bellman. A lot of you don't know. I'm Beryl Bellman. I'm the academic director and co-founder of the FIAC Institute. And this is the last portion of our program today. We're going to have a talk right now from Walt, Okon, and then we're going to have a faculty panel. And if you stick this out, we're going to have some drinks for you out in the lobby. We just saw throughout the day today how very complicated and complex the field of enterprise architecture is. And in the DoD, there has been an initiative that Walt has been leading to understand and to develop a competency framework for what it takes to be an enterprise architect and the different stages during an enterprise architect's career. So it is my pleasure to have Walt give us a briefing on this. For those of you who do not know Walt J. Okon is Senior Architecture Engineer for Enterprise Architecture and Standards and Chief Information Officer for the Office of the Secretary of Defense. Walt?
Did you know this was bring your son or daughter to work today? Yeah, I brought my son. Not really. This young gentleman here, his name is John Fletcher, and he is a DISA employee, and he's a rotational engineer to our organization. So where does Walt Okon work? I work in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. The Office of Secretary of Defense provides policy, guidance, direction, and oversight to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, and all the agencies. I love it when I get to come and talk after Ron. You know, it was 3 years ago that I was called up from DISA, the Defense Information Systems Agency, and I was called up to the Office of Secretary of Defense. And at that time, 2006, I didn't have any gray hair. And now look at me, I have almost as much as Ron. So Ron's talk to you is rather exciting, and I really endorse it because that's the job you want to have. That's the job that John would like to get. If anybody here can work for Ron Vanderveer, that's what you want to do. He's an outstanding mentor. He is in the operational field, and he's making it happen, making a difference to the defense of our nation. Architects play a key role in the defense of our country. They really do. We, architects, provide the architectures by which senior decision makers make decisions and also ensure that the requirements are met by the vendor community, hopefully met by the vendor community. And we're still learning how to do that. We're going to learn how to make it better. So we're really on a journey. And Ron articulated the journey a little bit. I'm going to articulate the journey a little bit from the Office of Secretary of Defense point of view. And I was asked to come here today to talk about one thing. I could talk about a lot of things, but one thing I was asked to talk about was the Architect's Competency Framework. And so if anybody wants my business card, this is it. Not if I'm asking for it, it's right there. And where Ron articulated a problem, a very serious problem. Did you hear what he said? He talked about the workforce, and he talked about not having architects with the knowledge and skills and ability to come to his organization and put them to work and be productive. Is that correct? That's correct. In other words, Ron would like, I would like, any supervisor would like to have an architect who's graduated with a degree come into the organization and within 90 days be able to go to work. Now, last time I talked to Ron, he said it took about 18 months. Well, he's not as good yet. And this guy's proactive, and so I went to visit him and found out that he's developing his own architecture training program for his people. But that's not what we need or what he wants. What he wants is for people to come in with those knowledge, skills, and abilities, and organizations like FIAC are enabling that. So that's a lot of goodness, and that's why we like to partner with FIAC. Now, I've done a little bit of research. Next slide. Done a little bit of research, and there's a challenge here. And the challenge is that things are changing. There is a big paradigm shift going on. See, you know, I'm not just going to talk about the competency framework. We're going to lay the groundwork here that you really need to know. What's going on up at OSD that's going to affect your lives and affect our career, the architecture career? One, the workforce takes us too long to get the people in. Two, where are those architects are now that you can hire? Three, how do you get them trained up? And what do you train them on? So I go out and I look and I find out that different training organizations are all training different things. Well, that's not cool. Anybody speak more than one language in here? Yeah. What language do you speak?
Hello.
And you speak another language?
English.
Right. I know English, but I don't know your other language, right? If you're going to talk to me, you got to talk in English. Or else I won't understand. There is a language of architecture. And we practitioners of architecting better know that language. The problem that I have is that we have all these acronyms. We have the DODAF, we have the DINDAF, we have the TOGAF, we have, the MODAF, and I can go on and on. You want to do Zachman? Let's do Zachman, yeah? But if you don't speak the same language and you get something in front of you and you have to analyze it, he's going to analyze it one way and I'm going to analyze it a different way. My vision, my challenge is to get all of us in one language. And some of you may not agree with me, but it's DODAF version 2. It is the Defense Architecture Framework. I didn't say it was DODAF. I said it was the Defense Architecture Framework. It is the one and only framework in the entire world. Uh-oh. Where's the press? I'm in trouble. Now you guys have to think about this. DODAF wasn't developed by Walt Okon, and it wasn't developed by a few guys in the back room. And this was one of them, along with over 100 others. And it was to answer the question that Ron had. It must be data-centric.